Welcome to Kingdom Community South Africa. This is the youth program presented by the Kingdom Youth. In a world influenced by status, fame, charm, and deception, we, the youth of the Kingdom of God, are living amidst a world culture. There may come a time where we conform to standards of the world, backslide, and maybe even compromise our salvation in this desolate and vain environment. Being exposed to this negative environment is not a problem. We are to expect adversity, trials, and tribulations. However, as children of God, if we are not influencing the kingdom of God in this environment, that is the problem. Join us as we learn and discover our mandate and authority as children of God to influence the kingdom of God in our world today.
Good evening, young people. We are here again today, dealing with the issues of the young people and dealing with our how to, what to, and then what should you expect as the young person. But today we'll be talking about the topic of when the clock is ticking. We are dealing with time in our times as young people, how to deal with the pressure that we come against. But today we have our ambassador, himself alone, Ambassador Siema, Kwena Siema. I want him to just introduce himself. I want him to just tell us who he is and a little bit of introduction about what he does. Ambassador, talk to us.
Ambassador, well, good evening to all the ambassadors online.
Yes.
What an honor it is for me to be back here again. Yes. It's great to, the subject that we're going to look at today. I'm really excited about it. Well, a little bit of background for me. I'm a father of two, husband of one wife, the wife of my youth. And, we've been together for the last 11 years now. Yes. We, in terms of professional, we, have some businesses that we run. Yes. And I am in the technology space, in the industrial technology space, yes. Doing things like industrial Internet of Things, as well as, digital transformation and fourth industrial revolution. That's the stuff that I take to market. Wow. At a professional level.
Yes, yes. Wow, you hear, that is really amazing. I know that it can be very long, but let's just keep that for now, because he's doing a lot, by the way. That is why he's here. We want to hear about that. Okay, first, I want to just ask this question. It's written here. So, feeling the pressure to get married or to be in a relationship. It's a point that I want him to just take us in, how to deal with the pressure of being in a relationship or just to get married. Talk to us, sir.
Sir, yes. I think what we perhaps should do is set a context about feeling the pressure. Oh, yes. One of the things that I've had to learn early on is what is pressure.
Pressure, yes.
And there's many definitions, but the one that I really liked is it's a state of mind that is impacted by external factors.
Wow.
So this is a state of mind that I'm in, but this state of mind is impacted mainly by factors beyond me. Oh, yes. So those factors beyond me, they create this state of mind. And then the result of that is pressure.
Yes.
So in this case, when we're talking about relationships, relationships, by the very word, it talks to being relational with some other people.
Yes, yes.
Talks to being, how you relate with others. And if you define that down, because relationships are again in many different aspects, yes. But if you define that down to, a relationship that leads to marriage, as young people, it can be a tricky environment. Yes, yes. Because at times, if you are impacted by those external factors we spoke about, it may be that you're looking around you and all your friends are getting married or are in a relationship. They have a boyfriend or a girlfriend. All your friends seems to be enjoying this world of courting and dating or getting married, and it may look like you are left alone. Yeah. And here I recall a lot about my life in the early days. Yes, I had learned, just before I met my wife, I had learned to have friends who are boys and friends who are girls.
Okay. Talk to us.
It's different from girlfriend
Oh, yes.
and boyfriend.
Okay.
So what does that mean? That means that I had to define the internal environment that I need before I relate with people on the outside.
Yes, yes.
We can unpack it a little later. But what that means is that I had to firm up, what do I want? Where do I want to go with my life? If you meet my wife, she will tell you that one of the first things I spoke to her before I even proposed, I told her about the life I want to live, where I want to go, my vision. And I said, do you think you can live with somebody who's like that?
Yes. Yes.
And much of what I promised her was, it's going to be hard before it gets better.
Yes, yes.
So you defining where you want to go, you being clear about your own life first, it's your first protection against external pressures.
Let me just hold you right there. There's a lot to unpack on this now. I'm just listening because I'm just becoming so personal because I'm also a young person and I'm learning.
Right.
By the way, we will meet Mama Siama anytime soon, our young people. She's a very nice lady. So what I'm just noticing here is for you as the young person to know exactly where are you going. We know that time can put pressure on you, but it's just hold on and know where you are going. Okay, let's
Yes.
keep going and unpack that because you were just right there, and then I disturbed you.
That statement is key. I think it was Mark Twain who said that there are two important days in one's life. And he said it's the day you were born and the day you find out why.
Yo.
Dr. Miles put it this way. The day you find out what is it that you are willing to die for, it's the day your life takes a different turn.
Yes, yes.
This is because that day, when you find out either why you were born or what is it that you are willing to lay your life down for, the external factors don't have as much impact as they would have had if you don't know that. You see, when you know why you were born, it starts to focus your life. You know, I was listening to, I think it's Steve Jobs in one of the old interviews, and the guy was asking him about one of the products that Apple was building. And when Steve Jobs, took over again, remember he ran Apple, he got fired by his own team, and then they had to find him to come back again. And then he said to him, when he came back, he started to refocus the company in specific areas. And this guy was asking about, why aren't we following on this particular product that we are developing? Because looking at the market pressure. Because this is external pressure to develop this particular product. You know, he made a very profound statement, and I'm not quoting it directly, I'm explaining it. But what he said was, being focused, it means we are going to say no. He says, focus means no.
Means no, yes.
So once you learn your why, you will figure out what is it that I need to be focused on.
Yes.
When you become focused, the pressures that come, the external factors that come, it's easy to say no.
Yes. I guess what Ambassador is saying here is that you grow from within, and now you become this stone person that you are not affected from within, which means the outside that is happening, it's not moving you around.
Absolutely.
Can I go to another question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Let's talk about this now, because he just touched it. That's what makes me go here. Feeling the pressure to live now a certain lifestyle. You see now, since you just went in to the proofing yourself not to be affected with the pressures of the outside. Now let's talk about the lifestyle, the certain lifestyle that is happening, especially to us as young people.
Absolutely. And they're linked, Ambassador, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you know. Pressure to be dating or in a courtship, it's a lifestyle as well.
Yes.
And when you are, let's take it even further. When you are dating somebody, the pressure for you to adapt to the lifestyle they live whether it's he or she, boyfriend, girlfriend, it doesn't matter. The pressure to live that lifestyle. That pressure will impact you if you don't have your own values defined.
Yes.
You see, lifestyle talks to culture and values. In our world today, in a world of podcasts, in a world of Instagram influencers, right, in a world of Facebook, our lifestyle is impacted by a lot of what we see out there.
Yes.
You know, the Western culture has been adopted so much in South Africa and in our world, actually beyond our borders anyway, that sometimes we forget that this is not real. You know, this is just Facebook. This is just Instagram. That Instagram influencer that you are following and listening to, he's so broke. You have no idea. He's depressed, and he's not showing that because, you know, on Instagram, Facebook, and all of these places, you can show a life that is completely different from the reality.
Yeah, that's true.
So then it goes back to what we started with: your internal growth.
Yes.
You building yourself up in a way that encourages yourself to seek the right type of knowledge. Be around the right type of people. Now, there's a guy who made I can't remember his name now, top of my head, but he made a statement that, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Yes, yes.
All right?
Yes.
What does that mean? That means, you know, the Bible puts it this way: the companion of fools will be destroyed.
Will be destroyed, yes.
So these are principles. The principles that in life, the influence that you allow determines how far you go in life. So I allow certain people to influence me. I allow Dr. Miles to influence me. I allow Ambassador Charles to influence me.
Yes.
I allow, you know, these mentors. But there are certain people I will never allow them to influence me because those are unnecessary pressures that we take on. Remember, this is about your state of mind. If you allow your state of mind to be influenced by just about anybody, you run a risk of impacting your own lifestyle because of all of these different pressures.
Wow.
So that's what I would say we need to watch out.
Wow. Hey, you know, there's a lot to deal with young people. Listen, obviously that's what we are dealing with in this program. So now, on what I've just heard, it's a clash of lifestyles. You know, these things, they come as a lifestyle, Ambassador. You also must have your own lifestyle. But if you don't have any lifestyle as a young person, you don't. Which means any lifestyle that comes first, you take it. Now you're going to have this thing, I don't know how to call it, but I would call it a confusion of lifestyles. So now you feel this person is on this side, this person is on that side. It can happen even on careers. This person is confused on many, many things that this person must focus into. All right.
And maybe just to close that point, because that's a critical point you're raising right there at the end.
Yes.
Because I think, you know, we need to make sure that not only are we diagnosing what the problem is, but we are also offering some solutions, especially around this issue of pressure. Because what we are diagnosing here very clearly is that if you don't have and have not developed yourselves, you will definitely be influenced. And if you have not made a choice, because influence will always happen, it's a matter of who do you allow to influence you.
Influence you, yes.
So how do you make those decisions about what am I going to allow as an influence in my life? Because you know, you make that decision when you start understanding what is my purpose, what is it that I want. How do you know what is it that you want? So you need to diagnose that further, because we need to give you tools and give our young people tools to start. How am I going to start building? What if I'm that young person right now who says, I actually have no clear idea what I want in life, where do I want to go in life, even who, you know, should I be following some celebrity influencer, or should I be following you, Ambassador? Like, how do I get to make those decisions? You know, and I think that's fundamental that we need to deal with, which is, first of all, you know, look at the books you read.
Okay, that's number one.
Number one, look at the books you read. If you are not reading at all, start reading.
Thank you.
You know, there's a saying, also not from me, I read this from some book or someone, who said, you'll be the same person you are in 5 years, except for the books you read and the people you hang out with. So how do you develop yourself?
Yes.
You develop yourself by first gathering knowledge.
Knowledge, yes, yes.
All right?
Yes.
You develop yourself first by gathering knowledge. And once you have knowledge, when you start practically applying that knowledge, you gain understanding.
Yes.
And when you gain understanding, you can have wisdom. You know, wisdom allows you to start seeing things differently, hearing things differently. We can go to a same meeting and listen to the same speaker, but hear very different things. The difference is what I've already built in here.
Yes, sir.
The perspective that I already have, the insight that I already have, allows me to hear things that somebody else may not hear.
Yes. Wow. I'm gonna just disturb you there. Listen, we're gonna go to the last point. But what I'm hearing here is really powerful for me. It's really powerful because what happens is that you, as the young person, if there is no knowledge, none whatsoever, that you put into yourself, the only thing that you put into yourself is junk, things that are not even about your career. There's nothing relevant that you put into yourself. Obviously, you're going to have all this information that we get on every social media and everything to you, it makes sense. Or you only watch only the things that makes you laugh. Of which is not what you need to do as the young person. I want us to go to the last one. Let's just get to the last one. Now, this one is a bit of, we'll want us to tap into personal level of each individual of a young person. Let's say you feel the pressure to neglect your mental and spiritual well-being. There's that pressure. We are talking about pressures.
Pressures.
Today. Yes.
Yeah. And I think we need to be real with our young people.
Yes,
that
yes.
you will, guaranteed, you will face pressures.
Yes.
In very different aspects of life. You will face pressures. And we need to also make it clear, don't panic. You will face pressure until you leave this earth.
Yes, that one I took notes of.
So don't panic when you are in that moment. Because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to build anxiety. Because when you have anxiety, it starts to lead to all sorts of its cousins.
Yes.
That leads to stress, to depressions, and so on. So what you want to do, that's why the Constitution of the Kingdom of Heaven says, do not be anxious for anything.
For anything, yes.
So there's a reason for that. So let's be real with young people. You are going to face pressures.
Yes.
You are going to feel like time is ticking. That's okay. You're going to feel that. What is important is, bringing all these 3 points together in the interest of time. What is important is how you build yourself up.
Oh, yes.
What is important is the environment that you create around you, in you, to make sure that whatever the pressure that may come, you have tools to handle it.
Oh, yes.
You see, there's a Jewish rabbi who was teaching one day, and he was talking about the pressures of life, talking to an audience, and he said to the audience, if you build,
Yes.
he says, in fact, he said, if you take what I'm saying and you use it,
Yes.
it is the same. Then he gives them an analogy. And he says, it's the same as somebody who builds on a rock.
Okay.
And he says, if you build on a rock, let me tell you what's going to happen. He says, there's going to be winds, there's going to be storms that are going to beat on that building. But when all of them are done, that building is going to be standing. But he says, if you hear me and not use what I'm telling you,
Yes.
the same thing is going to happen. There's going to be storms that are going to hit on that house. But when the storms are done, that house will be gone.
We're gonna
Because it will have no foundation.
yes.
Now, this Jewish rabbi is one of the leaders that has transformed the world. And it's one of the leaders that I follow and I listen to as a mentor.
Yes.
And I've learned from him that when you deal with pressure, what you want to have is foundation that is strong. You want to have depth.
Yes.
Depth comes from learning, continually learning, and then take what you're learning and put it into action. Because everything, when you practice doing something, you start realizing whether you actually know or you don't.
Yes, yes, that's true. I want he just went to the point because now I was about to go back to the point that you mentioned,
Yes.
that actually as young people, we need to know how to apply this information.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to have knowledge that is just floating without any the containers where it needs to fit in when the life is throwing you those holes. You understand?
Exactly.
So now you just went exactly to that. And number two is that these foundations, they were built in different locations. But one thing common is that the storm came on both of them.
That's it.
And then which means no matter how life is, life is, sometimes we say life is not fair as young people, right?
Yeah.
And we like to say life is not fair. No, life is happening to everyone, but those that are successful are those who apply the knowledge that you
That
just
they
said.
learn. Yeah.
Yes. Can you just try to put this together and let's close, because I can see that you are, you are dying with the knowledge.
Yes, time is not our friend, and I think we will develop this further.
Yes.
In all the areas that we've touched on, where you feel that time is ticking, whether I need to date,
Yes,
I need to go into relationships or not, the pressure of a lifestyle, different values that you deal with. All of this, we can spend a whole hour on the dating, marriage one alone, or lifestyle one alone. Suffice to say, as I close this, that as a young person, do this for yourself. As I already mentioned, you need to read.
Yes.
If you don't know where to start to read, you need a mentor.
Yes.
Because sometimes if you grew up like I grew up in a village and you never had mentors around you at an early age, you sometimes don't know where to start. So we can help you. Let us help you. Allow us to help you.
To help you.
Yeah. Here's Ambassador CQ. Here at KCSA, we have mentors.
Oh, yes.
So get a mentor. Get somebody who will help you work on where do I start if you haven't started. What types of books do I need to read? It helps you. It doesn't help you to read just novels.
Yes, yes.
And I've done that a lot in my life. I read a lot of novels that nice stories, very, very nice stories, but in essence, there's no principles that I can take and be able to use in my life.
Yes.
If you want to be intentional and grow in your life, get mentors, read books, and start to define your focus, because your focus will help you to say no.
Yes, yes. Wow, time, time is always not on our side, because here we have a lot of information that we can throw. Let me just close here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much,
Thank you, sir,
for joining us. Really, there was a lot that to unpack here. But we are not ending here. There is more to learn on the following Friday. Please tune in and listen to the principles that we have as young people and also for our young people. Thank you so much. See you next time.